really happy to be home. Very sad things didn't work out the way that I had planned in the beginning, but I have sailed 12,000 miles, and I'm proud of my achievement. The more I sail, the more I like sailing, and I'm definitely not going to stop for a minute. There's a lot of people who I really need to thank. So many people came together to help save me. The Reunion Island Navy, the captain and crew of the Osiris, and the fishing ship, the Reunion. Reunion Maritime Affairs and its rescue team. Maritime Rescue Coordination Center in Canberra, Australia. U.S. Coast Guard, Australian and French governments. And I'd also like to thank the people of Reunion Island and Australia who indirectly funded my assistance. I know there's a lot of different views on my trip, but I really just want to thank the thousands and thousands of people who have been so supportive. I just want to thank them for all their emails and messages. It's really helped me and my family through this time. It's really great to think that I may have inspired some people to go for their dreams. I'm living proof that things don't always work out the way you plan, but you can only plan so far in an adventure. You can reduce risk, but you can never completely eliminate it, and, I hope that I may have inspired some people. My parents have been really great support throughout my whole trip and all the planning, and I just want to thank them for that. It's been crazy at home with my mom, and by the end of this conference I might have a new little brother, so it's really exciting. What a lot of people don't know about my trip is that I've been working towards this before I bought a boat. I didn't just hop in a boat and leave. I spent years working with I've crewed on an open 50 and practiced on that, and I have a team of experts who I had been working with. So my trip started before the boat. I'd just like to thank my brother Zach. He's been an inspiration to the world, and he's also been an inspiration to me. And he's one of the few people in this world who really understand what I've been through and why we do what we do. And I just want to thank him for that. From here on out, I'm just gonna, for now, I'm just gonna be focusing on school and driver's license, all that, getting back to normal life. So, thank you so much for your support.
Questions from the floor.
Abby, can you tell us what happened out there? Was the boat upside down for a long period? Can you talk a little bit about that road?
My boat wasn't upside down for a very long time. The roll was pretty fast. Something I'd just like to make clear, a lot of the media has actually misquoted me. The storm I was in did not roll my boat. I was hit by a rogue wave once the storm was already dying down. So I'd just like to make that clear. And, the boat rolled fast. I didn't have a lot of warning, so.
What were you doing at the time?
At the time, I just finished doing some work on my engine. So I was luckily down below when it did happen.
And what time was it, roughly?
It had just gotten dark out. It gets dark pretty early down there, but it was getting later.
Were you hurt at all?
No, not majorly. Of course, you get a little banged and bruised, but nothing serious.
Knocked out or anything?
I did hit my head kind of hard, and things went black for a second, but just for a second.
What was your state of mind? What was that like when you realized you were in trouble?
It was pretty unbelievable. It's something in the back of your mind. It's a possibility, but you really just it's so unexpected. It's hard to know what to think when that happens.
Was there ever a point where you said, maybe this wasn't such a good idea?
No, there was never that point because, you see, I was prepared. Well, I didn't, of course I didn't expect it to happen, but I knew what to do in case of that problem, and because of that, I felt comfortable out there. Sorry, what was the question? Well, of course, after your boat rolls, the first thought is to jury rig. But I got outside, and there was just no mast there. 1-inch stub was left on deck. And I was even thinking of, if I get the boom on deck, I could rig up something. But my boom had snapped in half, so there was nothing left for me to jury rig with.
You know, Abby, it's hard for people who don't have the experience you have and have grown up on boats to understand what it's like for a 16-year-old to have this kind of confidence and stamina to handle it. I mean, and so it's hard to believe that there's no point doing this that you're not maybe regretting or wondering what am I doing or scared. I mean, you sound like you were calm the whole time. I mean, honestly, there's no way for us to relate. Because I can't imagine doing that now. Myself at 16. Can you kind of help us understand how you could feel that way? And are you sure there was no time that you were saying, Mom, Dad, I want to go home?
Yeah, you make a good point that not a lot of people understand, and so, makes a lot of people just assume things. But, growing up on boats and feeling, that you know what to do in case of an emergency, it really helps. I mean, there's definitely been times when I was terrified. I knew when I headed out for this trip that I was going to be testing myself, and I was going to have to push myself to my limits. And I think knowing that that's going to happen and being ready for it when it does happen, it really helps. There were times I was scared, definitely. But you get scared and then you have to get over it, because being scared, it doesn't do anything good. It just makes you hesitate and makes more problems start coming.
What's your statement to those who say you were too young to go around the world by yourself?
I've crossed 2 oceans. I've sailed around Cape Horn and Cape Agulhas. The questioning of my age should have been over weeks, if not months ago.
You mentioned that you were scared at times. Was there a moment that you were most afraid? And if you were to do this again, what would you do differently?
I can't really say the moment that I was most afraid. And, my trip, it didn't end because of something I did wrong or because of anything anybody did wrong. And I can't really say what I'd do differently.
Abby, your mom said that at one point she was going to pack a bag of sort of surprises for you to open as you went along to kind of keep boredom at bay, and if you got anxious, relieve the anxiety. Can you tell us what was in the bag and whether it helped?
She did pack a few things, on holidays. For, St. Patrick's Day, I got this big green hat and a couple of funny little decorations for the boat. And, things like that, when you're out in the ocean alone, just little things can really bring your day up and make you happy. And it's important to stay upbeat and keep a positive mental attitude when you're out on the ocean alone. Leaving it behind was really hard. The ship showed up and I wasn't quite ready to leave. I would have liked a little more time there, but, I spent so long working so hard with that boat and for my trip, and to just step off of it and, know that I'm never going to see that boat again. It was really hard, and, I'm really sad to have lost her. I was incredibly surprised. Out where I was, I did not expect to see a plane. I expect to maybe see a ship eventually, and even that I expected it to take days, even weeks for it to get to me. So I saw the plane, and it was a little bit disbelief. I didn't. It was a rescue plane, obviously. It was flying so low, but I had no idea why it was so far out or what it was doing. So. It was kind of a mixture of disbelief and excitement to know that they knew I was there and they were looking for me.